This is a WWN Publishing Group recording. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is an abridged version of Hot Georgia Rein by Martha Sweeney to make the story appropriate for all listeners on YouTube. Read to you by the author. If you want to read the complete story, you can find the ebook or paperback online. Links are provided below in the description. Chapter 27, Ivy. Ivy, Cece calls. Ivy, you have a visitor. It takes me a second to hear her and process what she's saying. Why would she tell me I have a visitor when we're expecting food to be delivered for lunch? Movement out of the corner of my eye pulls my attention away from my son, and I find Henry standing in the living room. I swear I'm seeing things and blink a few times. Henry stands there motionless and silent. Henry? I ask, still not sure if he's actually here or not. Henry came to see how I was feeling, Cece states. You know, since you told him you rushed back here for me. I nod, not sure how to respond to her or what to say to him. This is the last place I'd expect to see Henry, not until we had talked things out. Henry stares at me blankly, and it's like neither of us can find the words. How do I explain everything, especially in this kind of a situation? I didn't want it to happen like this. God, there's no way I wanted Henry to find out like this. I should have told him sooner. Dada, my son says, causing my heart to break. I don't dare look away from Henry, afraid that he'll suddenly vanish. My mouth opens to say something, but my brain is frozen in fear. Henry's head starts to shake a little as he begins to step back. It doesn't take long for Henry's face to reveal every emotion he's feeling. Shock, anger, sadness, and probably hate. He moves faster than I anticipate, disappearing from view. Henry, I call, handing my son off to Drew. Should I not have let him in? Cece checks as she follows me to the door. No, I don't know. I stutter. I rush to get my shoes on and yank open the door. Henry! I watch and find that the elevator is going up, so I rush to the stairs. When I get to the railing, I hear his footsteps below me, which sound to be a few floors below. Henry! I call after him. Henry, please, don't go! My feet shuffle as quickly as they can while I hold on to the metal railing. Henry, please, come back. I can explain. I continue to beg him to stop, to give me a chance to tell him what he just saw, barely stopping to take a breath of air as my chest pounds from the anxiety and the physical exertion of running after him. As I take each step, heat and panic rise inside me. The only sound that is heard are his footsteps getting softer in the distance. Henry's getting away. Fear washes over me at the notion that I will lose him forever. I just need him to listen, and then maybe, just maybe, we still might have a chance to be together. I can't have him making a decision without knowing the facts. Henry, I shout, please, it's not what you think. When I get to the 5th floor, knowing that he's about to leave, I yell, Henry, please, he's your son. The door below slams shut and the blast feels like a bullet piercing my heart. My legs wobble a little, but I fight to stay upright. I continue the rest of the way, hoping that he'll stop or I can catch up. When I get to the lobby, Henry's nowhere to be found. I rush to the front doors and look both ways when I get outside. My head bounces from side to side as I frantically search for him. My heart continues to shatter into a million tiny raindrops, just like the ones that are already falling from the sky above. I pray to find him, but know that there is a good chance that I won't. I think I've lost him forever. I'm not sure how long I stand there, looking back and forth down the street. My eyes scan all the faces everywhere, even the cars, willing him to appear. Thinking I see Henry, I dart back and forth between a few men who look like him from behind. My heart breaks each time when I meet their gaze and realize that they're not him. Tears pour from my eyes like the rain that is soaking me. My heart crumbles, devastated by the idea that I've lost my chance. My arms wrap around my body and my legs wobble under me as I continue to search for him, calling out Henry's name. It isn't until I'm drenched and shivering that I notice that I'm being escorted back into the building by one of the doormen. I'm taken to the elevator and wait for the box to rise as his arms wrap around me in careful comfort. My eyes stay focused on the floor, unable to look anyone in the eye, ashamed at what's happened. I knew that waiting to tell Henry wasn't a good idea. I just couldn't find the right time to bring it up, let alone tell him that I have a son, that we have a son.
There were always people around us, or we were in the middle of having sex. As the elevator ascends, my heart continues to crush like tiny pieces of glass beneath my feet. There is no coming back from this. I should have told Henry sooner. The warm body removes itself from mine after I'm led into the hallway. A voice asks a few questions, but I'm too distraught to process them. My head bobs in reply, needing to be left in my misery. Moments later, my legs give out and my body falls to the floor. Sadness floods my body like the rains flooding the Georgia rivers as the pain swallows me whole below its current. I surrender to the searing ache, knowing that I deserve it. There is no one to blame for what has happened other than myself. Ivy, a familiar person calls in the distance. Ivy. Movement is barely noticed in my blurry line of sight as tears continue to fall. Ivy, honey, what happened? The person requests. My head shakes as my voice is unable to answer. Ivy, the person commands, louder this time. How long have you been out there? My eyes lift, and after a few seconds, I see Cece's face coming into focus. Why are you wet? Cece asks with concern laced in her tone as she tries to get me to stand. Drew! Yeah, a man's voice replies. I need your help, Cece states. What the? Drew says when our eyes meet. Ivy, hun, what the hell happened? My body aches and has trouble complying with their demand for me to move. The pain in my chest is too great, and I fear that if I try to move, my body will fall apart. I feel them both try to hoist me up, but my body won't budge. I got her, Drew directs, lifting me up in his arms. She's as cold as ice, Cece states as her warm hand blankets my forehead. The echo of a door closing behind me is heard, and a child's voice keeps shouting, Mama. My eyes squint to the bright light that surrounds me. I'll draw her a bath, Cece states as I hear water begin flowing. Henry, I utter, followed by sobs. Mama? My son says. I look over and find him standing in the doorway to the bathroom. I start to cry again, realizing that I've lost the chance for my son to ever know his father. I look away, ashamed and trying to hide my tears. Mama isn't feeling good, Cece says. Uncle Drew is going to hang out with you while Aunt Cece makes her better, okay, honey? My body shakes and I can't tell if it's because I'm that cold or that upset. What happened? Cece asks as she removes my clothes. He's gone, I mumble, barely lifting my arms to assist with the removal of my shirt. Where did he go? Cece checks. My head shakes. He disappeared, I inform. He just disappeared. Did you get to tell him anything? Cece inquires. No, I admit as another round of sobs erupt. You didn't catch up to him, she pries. No, I say, continuing to bawl. Cece says something, but I'm unable to hear her. I told him, I ramble. Told him what? She checks. I told him that he's his son, I inform, feeling a fresh new rush of guilt take over my body. I thought you didn't catch up to him, Cece states. I didn't, I reply. I shouted after him. I don't know if he heard it before the door slammed shut. And he just walked away? Cece searches. He didn't come back in? My head shakes. He never stopped walking. I never stopped chasing, I explain. He was almost out of the stairwell. I said that he's your son. And he didn't say anything? Didn't do anything? She double checks. No, I howl, lowering my face into my hands. No. Get in, Cece directs as she guides me to something. We need to warm you up. I nod, not caring how I feel. Mama, I hear, coming from behind the bathroom door. My heart shatters even more than I thought it ever could. Mama, he repeats as his little hands bang on the door. Mama just needs a few minutes, Cece states as I rock myself in the warm water. Uncle Drew will play with you until she's done, okay, honey? Dada, Henry says. Want to see Dada? My lungs stop taking in oxygen after hearing his request. It isn't until a sharp sting is felt across my face that I realize that I stopped breathing. I suck in a large gulp, preferring that pain over the pain of my broken heart. I'm not going to let you fall apart, Cece commands, tugging my chin so I look at her. I need you. Your son needs you. You have to come to grips with what just happened and decide. Decide? I question, confused by her words. Are you going to just let Henry run away to never find out the truth? Or are you going to run after him? Tell him everything and let him decide what's best for him once he knows the truth, Cece asks sternly. I don't know, I cry. Well, you're the only one who has the power, Cece claims. I don't have any power, I state. I don't know where he is. If that man is pissed, he's heading back home, Cece states. You know where to find him. So, are you going to explain and hope that he understands, or keep avoiding him and everyone else along with some of the hard decisions you had to make that got you to this point? I don't know, I reply, honestly, still feeling completely defeated. Well, you're going to need to know, Cece declares. You've got 20 minutes. Then you've got to pull yourself together and face this. Face your past and face your present, or else you won't have the future you want. I nod despite feeling completely helpless. I don't know if I can come back from this. I don't know if I can chase after Henry. I don't think I could handle another rejection. You owe it to Henry. You owe it to your son, Cece states sternly. She leaves the bathroom, closing the door behind her. I stare blankly across the tub, dazed by everything that's happened. Tears fall rapidly from my eyes as recent events flash before me. Then, anger begins to surface within me. I'm mad at myself. This is my fault. I could have made decisions that would have made things differently for me, for Henry, and for our son. I need to stop hiding. I need to explain everything to Henry. My son deserves better. He deserves to have his father in his life, even if that doesn't include us as a family.
This is the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. To read the full unabridged version, you can find a link in the description below. To find out about new releases before the general public, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. You'll find a link also in the description. Also, to be notified when the next chapter is published, make sure you subscribe to my channel.